stop. If your blood sugar is climbing despite perfect compliance, what I'm about to tell you will either make you furious or finally set you free. For 24 years as a surgeon, I've watched patients follow every rule, take every medication, restrict every food, and still watch their numbers spiral. You aren't failing, and your doctors aren't lying, but you are fighting the wrong enemy. Right now, at this exact moment, there's a 90% chance your cells are rejecting insulin, not because of what you ate, but because of something so basic, so obvious that it's been hiding in plain sight for decades. The medical system won't prioritize this because there's no pill for it, but I have seen it drop fasting glucose by 50 points in 2 weeks without changing a single meal. I'm Dr. Megan Foster, and what I'm about to show you is physiology that has been deliberately ignored because it doesn't generate profit. Welcome to the first step of our journey together. Before we dive into complex science, I want you to picture a scenario that might feel all too familiar. Imagine waking up at 6 a.m., feeling a bit groggy but determined. You walk to the kitchen, prick your finger, and wait for the beep. You've been good this week. You skipped the dessert at your granddaughter's birthday. You've taken your metformin religiously. You ate the salad. Yet, as the numbers appear on the screen, your heart sinks. 180, again. It feels unfair. It feels like no matter how hard you try, the math just doesn't add up, and the result remains stubbornly high. This is the silent frustration of millions. You go to your doctor, and they tell you to lose weight or cut more carbs. But you know you are already trying your hardest. You aren't lazy, and you aren't cheating on your diet. This creates a psychological burden, a heavy feeling that you are fighting a losing battle against your own biology. You begin to wonder if the medication has stopped working or if your condition is simply destined to worsen. It is a lonely place to be, feeling betrayed by your own body. But what if I told you that the problem isn't necessarily what you are eating, or even the medication you are taking? What if the issue isn't about what you are putting into your mouth, but rather the environment inside your body that receives it? There is a missing piece of the puzzle that most standard dietary advice overlooks. We focus so much on sugar, carbs, and insulin, that we forget the medium in which all these chemical reactions take place. Today, we are shifting our focus from the food on your plate to the water in your system, unveiling the hidden culprit. Think of your body's cells like a sponge. When a sponge is soft and wet, it is flexible, it absorbs everything you pour onto it instantly. But have you ever left a sponge on the sink for a few days until it dries out? It becomes hard, stiff, and brittle. If you pour water, or in this case, insulin and glucose, onto that dry sponge, what happens? It doesn't soak in. It runs right off the surface. This is exactly what is happening inside you. Your cells have become like that dry sponge. The insulin is knocking at the door, trying to deliver energy, but the cell membrane is hard and resistant, refusing to let insulin in. This phenomenon explains why you can have plenty of insulin and plenty of sugar in your blood, causing high readings, yet your cells are starving for energy, causing fatigue. The sugar is floating in your bloodstream because it cannot get inside the cell. The root cause isn't just insulin resistance as a vague concept, it is a physical state of the cell membrane caused by a lack of intracellular fluid. We call this condition chronic cellular dehydration. Imagine your body is a garden. You water it, you give it fertilizer, but the plants are withering. Why? Because the soil has become hard as rock. This is exactly what is happening inside your body at a microscopic level. You might be avoiding carbs and taking your medication, but if your cells are dehydrated, the very architecture of your biology fights against you. This is the phenomenon of cellular dehydration. Let's zoom in on a single cell to understand this. A healthy, hydrated cell looks like a plump, fresh grape. Its outer membrane is fluid, flexible, and soft. This flexibility is crucial for life. However, when we are chronically dehydrated, that cell becomes like a raisin. It shrinks, and more importantly, its membrane becomes rigid, tough, and resistant. It turns into a fortress to protect the little water left inside. Now, think about insulin. Insulin is the hormonal key designed to unlock the cell door to let glucose, which is energy, inside. On a healthy, soft membrane, the key fits perfectly into the lock. But on a dehydrated, hardened membrane, the shape of the receptor changes. The key jams. It cannot turn. You have plenty of keys and plenty of doors, but the mechanism is physically broken due to the structural change. When the key doesn't work, sugar cannot enter the cell to be burned for energy. Instead, it piles up in your bloodstream, causing your blood sugar readings to spike. Your pancreas senses this high sugar and screams, "We need more keys," pumping out even more insulin. This leads to a dangerous cycle: high sugar and high insulin, all because the cell wall is too tough to penetrate. This implies that insulin resistance isn't just a sugar problem, it is fundamentally a hydration problem. The cell isn't trying to hurt you, it's in survival mode, hardening its shell to prevent total desiccation. To fix blood sugar, we must first soften the shell. We must rehydrate the cell from the inside out, restoring flexibility so the insulin key can work once again. Many of my patients over 60 come to me with the same frustration. They drink their 8 glasses a day, yet their skin feels dry, their energy is low, and their blood sugar remains stubborn. It's not that they aren't trying, it's that their internal plumbing has changed. As we age, our body's ability to move water from the bloodstream into the cells, where it's actually needed, drastically declines. The primary culprit is the decline of aquaporins. Think of these as tiny, specialized gates on your cell membranes that allow water to pass through. When we are young, these gates are abundant and swing open easily. However, research shows that after age 60, the number and efficiency of these aquaporin channels decrease significantly. It's like trying to fill a swimming pool through a thin straw instead of a fire hose. The water is there, but it simply cannot get inside fast enough. Secondly, your brain's thirst mechanism becomes unreliable. In younger adults, a slight drop in fluid volume triggers an immediate thirst signal. For seniors, this signal is muted. By the time you actually feel thirsty, you are often already deeply dehydrated on a cellular level. This creates a dangerous cycle where the blood becomes thicker and more concentrated with glucose, yet the brain fails to send the urgent command to drink, leaving your cells parched and resistant to insulin. Furthermore, we must look at the kidneys and muscles. Aging kidneys lose their ability to conserve water efficiently, flushing out essential electrolytes needed to hold water in the body. Simultaneously, we lose muscle mass, our body's natural water reservoir, through sarcopenia. Since muscle holds far more water than fat, a body with less muscle simply has less storage capacity for hydration. This structural change means the water you drink often passes straight through you without ever revitalizing your metabolic functions. Understanding these barriers is not meant to discourage you, but to change your strategy. You cannot simply drink more plain water and hope for the best. You need to drink smarter to bypass these age-related roadblocks. By acknowledging the decline of aquaporins and the muted thirst signals, we prepare ourselves to learn the specific, conductive, water recipes that can force those cellular gates open again. Many of us believe that simply holding a glass of water is enough to tick the box for hydration, but unfortunately, the way we drink matters just as much as the amount. In our quest to control blood sugar, we often fall into 3 deadly traps that sabotage our efforts without us even realizing it. The first silent enemy is ice-cold water. It feels refreshing, especially on a hot day, but biologically, it sends a shockwave through your system. When ice water hits your stomach, it constricts blood vessels and inhibits the vagus nerve, slowing down digestion and actually increasing insulin resistance because your body has to expend energy to warm that liquid up before absorbing it. Then we have the second mistake, one that is a morning ritual for millions: substituting water with tea or coffee. You might think liquid is liquid, but caffeine acts as a potent diuretic. It forces your kidneys to flush out sodium and water faster than you can replenish them. For a diabetic, this is a dangerous cycle. You are drinking to hydrate, but chemically, you are squeezing your cells dry, leaving them shriveled and unable to respond effectively to insulin signals. The third and perhaps most surprising myth is the obsession with ultra-pure water. We spend fortunes on reverse osmosis filters that strip everything away. While clean, this water is electrically dead. Without essential minerals like magnesium and potassium, water cannot conduct the electrical signals required to open cellular gates. It simply passes through your body and out into the toilet, leaving your blood hydrated but your cells desperately thirsty. This phenomenon explains why you can drink liters of bottled water and still feel a dry mouth or dry skin. It is what scientists call hypotonic washout. You are diluting your remaining electrolytes, making the cellular environment even more hostile to glucose absorption. To truly fix your blood sugar, we must stop treating water as just a thirst quencher and start treating it as a nutrient delivery system. We need to move away from these habits and learn how to remineralize our water, turning it back into the conductive fluid of life that our cells crave. Let's talk about a frustrating paradox that many of you face daily. You are doing everything right by the book. You carry a water bottle everywhere, you force yourself to drink the recommended 8 glasses, and your urine is clear. Yet, your mouth feels like cotton, your skin feels papery and dry, and you still have that nagging, unquenchable thirst. It feels like the water is just running straight through you, acting as a temporary visitor rather than a healer. This isn't just a feeling, it is a physiological reality called cellular dehydration. To understand this, imagine your body is a large house. The hallways are your blood vessels, and the rooms inside are your cells. Most people succeed at blood hydration, which is simply flooding the hallways with water. But if the doors to the rooms are locked, the carpet inside remains dusty and dry, no matter how much you flood the hall. In fact, flooding the hall just creates dangerous pressure against the walls, which explains why high blood pressure often accompanies diabetes. This is the crucial distinction: blood volume versus cellular volume. When you have insulin resistance, the mechanism that escorts glucose into the cell, the same biological door that often lets magnesium and water in, is jammed. So, when you drink plain water, it enters your bloodstream and stays there. It swells your blood volume, forcing your kidneys to work overtime to flush out the excess fluid, but your cells remain shriveled like raisins. Your brain, which monitors the fluid balance inside the cells, detects this internal dryness and screams, "Thirst." So you drink more plain water. But because the door is locked, that water just dilutes your blood, stripping away essential minerals, and you urinate it out. It is a vicious cycle of starvation in the midst of plenty. You are drowning your blood but starving your cells. Real hydration isn't about the quantity of liquid in the bottle, it's about the destination of that liquid. We need to stop focusing on how much you drink and start focusing on the electrical charge required to open those cellular doors. It's not about how much you swallow, it's about how much you absorb. Imagine your cells are like a dried-up sponge sitting on a kitchen counter. If you pour cold, pure water over that dry, hardened sponge, what happens? The water simply beads up and rolls off the sides, it does not soak in. This is exactly what happens in a diabetic body suffering from chronic cellular dehydration. You might be diligently drinking gallons of water a day, yet your cells remain parched, shriveled, and resistant to insulin. The water sits outside the cell, causing bloating and frequent urination, but never actually hydrates the interior. The missing key isn't just the volume of fluid, it is the quality and conductivity of the fluid entering your system, creating a state we call biological readiness. Here is the bioelectrical truth that most people miss: insulin is a hormone that functions like a key, but it needs an electrical signal to successfully unlock the cell door. Pure, highly filtered water is actually an electrical insulator, it stops electricity from flowing. For insulin to communicate effectively with your cells, the fluid environment must be electrically conductive. Without essential minerals acting as electrolytes, your blood volume increases, but the water stays trapped outside the cell walls. This leaves the cellular interior dry and the insulin receptor mechanism completely silent. This brings us to the first pillar of the WTR solution: warmth. In traditional Chinese medicine and modern physiology alike, cold causes contraction. Drinking ice water shocks the vagus nerve and constricts the capillaries in your gut, slowing down absorption and forcing the body to expend precious energy heating the liquid. Warm water, conversely, acts as a vasodilator. It relaxes the tissues, expands the pathways, and allows hydration to slip effortlessly through the cellular membranes, preparing the stage for nutrient uptake. Now, we add the spark to that warmth: minerals. This is the conductive water formula. It is not about buying expensive, sugar-laden sports drinks. It is about alchemy in your own kitchen. Take a glass of warm water and add a single pinch of high-quality mineral salt, specifically Celtic sea salt or pink Himalayan salt. This tiny addition transforms dead, filtered water into a living, electrically active solution. It mimics the natural saline composition of your own blood, turning the water into an electrolyte carrier. When you drink this warm, mineral-rich water, you are not just quenching thirst, you are building a bridge for insulin. You are turning your body from a resistant insulator into a highly conductive grid. Suddenly, the insulin signal travels clearly, the cell doors unlock without resistance, sugar moves out of the bloodstream and into the cell where it belongs, and your energy returns. This is the power of quality hydration. Now that we have transformed ordinary water into a conductive elixir with minerals, we must address the when. Even the highest quality fuel will fail if the engine is not ready to receive it. Imagine your body as a parched garden. If you water it at high noon under the scorching sun, the moisture evaporates before it ever reaches the deep roots. To heal insulin resistance, timing is just as critical as quality. We call this the circadian hydration rhythm. The first and most critical golden hour is immediately upon waking, ideally between 5 o'clock and 7 a.m. After a long sleep, your body is in a state of drought and your blood is viscous, like thick syrup. Drinking 2 glasses of warm water right now activates your internal organs, flushes the digestive tract, and thins the blood, effectively preventing that dangerous morning sugar spike. The second critical window opens exactly 30 minutes before every main meal. This practice is non-negotiable for metabolic health. It prehydrates the stomach lining, preparing it to produce the acid needed for digestion. However, there is a strict rule you must follow: stop drinking the moment you pick up your fork. Sipping water while you eat dilutes your digestive enzymes, turning your stomach into a swamp rather than a furnace, which leads to sluggish metabolism and higher glucose. The third moment is the afternoon slump defense, occurring around 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. This is the time when cortisol levels naturally drop, and you often feel a sudden craving for sweets or caffeine. In reality, your brain is confusing thirst signals for hunger. Your cells are panic-thirsty, not hungry. A large glass of water at this specific time re-energizes the brain and kills cravings instantly. Finally, the fourth hour is a small, controlled amount taken 1 hour before a warm bath or 45 minutes before bed. We are not looking for volume here, but flow. This small intake helps maintain blood viscosity while you sleep, reducing the risk of nocturnal strokes and heart attacks without filling the bladder so much that it ruins your sleep. Mastering these 4 windows turns water into medicine, aligning your hydration with your circadian rhythm. I hear this concern constantly from my patients: if I drink that much water, I'll be up all night running to the bathroom, or worse, I'll damage my kidneys. It is a valid fear, especially when sleep is already fragile. However, we need to understand the biology. Paradoxically, frequent nighttime urination, or nocturia, is often a sign that water is not getting into your cells but is simply passing through your system. When your body is in a state of cellular dehydration, it tries to flush out excess sugar and toxins, leading to more urine production, not less. The key isn't to stop drinking, but to change how you drink. To avoid disrupting your sleep, we must prioritize front-loading your hydration. Aim to consume 80% of your daily water intake before 5 p.m. This allows your cells ample time to absorb the fluid and your kidneys time to filter it before you sleep. Furthermore, stop gulping large amounts at once. Sipping warm, mineral-rich water slowly allows aquaporins to function efficiently, ensuring the fluid hydrates tissues rather than filling your bladder immediately. Regarding kidney health, many fear that water places a burden on these vital organs. In reality, the opposite is true. Your kidneys are filters. Imagine trying to push thick, syrupy sludge through a fine mesh versus flowing clean water. Dehydration forces your kidneys to work significantly harder to filter blood and excrete waste. By maintaining steady cellular hydration, you actually reduce the pressure on your kidneys and support their natural detoxification process. Of course, for those with advanced stage 4 or 5 kidney disease, always consult your specialist for exact fluid limits. For the vast majority, however, the strategy is clear: hydration leads to stabilization. By drinking the right water at the right times, you signal your body that it is safe, reducing stress hormones like cortisol that also spike blood sugar. Finish your last glass of water 2 hours before bed to ensure a restful night. You will find that as your cells become truly hydrated, your sleep deepens, and those midnight trips to the bathroom actually decrease over time. We've journeyed through the intricate world of cellular hydration, uncovering hidden culprits and debunking age-old myths. You now understand why simply drinking water isn't enough, and why the quality and timing of your water intake are paramount, especially as we age. We've explored the profound link between cellular dehydration and insulin resistance, and the critical role of properly activated water in restoring cellular function. Now, it's time to put this knowledge into practice, not as a daunting task, but as an exciting adventure towards better health. This isn't about restrictive diets or complicated routines. It's about empowering your body to heal itself, one cell at a time. I invite you to embark on our 7-day cellular hydration challenge. This challenge is designed to be simple, sustainable, and profoundly impactful. For the next 7 days, your focus will be on consistently applying the WTR, warm, timed, electrolyte-rich, principles we've discussed. This means starting your day with warm, electrolyte-enhanced water, consciously sipping throughout your 4 golden hours, and ensuring your body receives the right kind of hydration to truly penetrate your cells. Think of it as a gentle recalibration, giving your cells the optimal environment they've been craving. Many of you might be wondering, what can I truly expect in just 7 days? The beauty of cellular hydration is its rapid, noticeable impact. While individual results always vary based on your unique body and starting point, a significant number of participants report experiencing a profound shift. You might notice subtle improvements first, perhaps a renewed sense of clarity and focus, a reduction in the afternoon slump, or even less desire for sugary snacks as your cells become more nourished. We're aiming for a foundational change, not just a quick fix. As the days progress, deeper transformations often emerge. Expect more stable energy levels throughout the day, without those dramatic peaks and crashes that often accompany fluctuating blood sugar. Many report improved digestion and less bloating, as proper hydration aids in nutrient absorption and waste elimination. You might even find your skin looking more supple and vibrant, a natural glow returning as your cells rehydrate from within. This isn't just about managing symptoms, it's about addressing the root cause. The most exciting expected result, of course, is a positive impact on your blood glucose readings. As your cells become properly hydrated, their membranes regain flexibility, allowing insulin to work more efficiently and glucose to enter the cells as fuel. This improved insulin sensitivity can lead to more stable blood sugar levels, reducing the need for your pancreas to overproduce insulin. Imagine the peace of mind that comes with seeing those numbers gently trend downwards, knowing you've achieved it through a natural, empowering approach. This challenge is your first step towards reclaiming control over your metabolic health and experiencing a life of vibrant well-being. Are you ready to hydrate your way to health? Your journey begins now. As we come to the close of our journey, remember that true discovery isn't just about finding new places, but about finding a new sense of self within them. It's about the connections we forge, the stories we collect, and the quiet moments that shift our perspective, making the world feel a little more intimate, a little more understandable. Each step we've taken, each horizon we've witnessed, has been a thread woven into the rich tapestry of our shared human experience. From the bustling markets to the serene mountain peaks, these moments remind us that despite our differences, there's a universal language of awe and wonder that binds us all, across cultures and continents. It's in these journeys that we learn to embrace the unpredictable, to find beauty in imperfection, and to grow beyond our perceived limits. The challenges become triumphs, the unknowns become familiar, and every obstacle overcome leaves an indelible mark, shaping us into more resilient, more compassionate individuals. So, as this particular chapter concludes, let it ignite within you a passion for the chapters yet unwritten. Let the echoes of these adventures inspire you to seek out new horizons, to listen to new melodies, and to walk new paths. The world is vast, full of untold stories waiting for you to become a part of them, to add your unique voice to the grand narrative. For in the end, it's not just about where you've been, but who you've become along the way. Carry these memories, these lessons, and this renewed spirit with you. Let them guide your next adventure, reminding you that the greatest journey is always the one within, continuously unfolding, endlessly enriching. Until next time, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and keep growing.